Welcome, everyone, to Bonfire, the fast-paced multiplayer word game for storytellers. I'm your host, Ron Ogden. They call me the Chronicle. My co-host today is Heroic Story co-founder, Jay Rosenkrantz. Hello, Jay. How are you doing today?
Chronicle. Good to see you. It's us again. It's us on the big stage.
It is. It's us on the big screen again.
Do you get nervous when it's just the two of us on screen, or you're like, how are we going to do this?
Not enough narcissism inside of me that I'm totally fine being on screen all by myself sometimes.
That's what I love about you. Welcome.
The narcissism, that's what you love.
I love the narcissism. We have all got a little bit inside of us.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, it's time for my monologue.
Indeed.
Enjoy my words, all. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. I want to just give a shout out to everybody working so hard behind the scenes to pull this crazy thing off. The team at Windwalk, in our community, our partners at Effin' Funny who are helping us run the show, our guests, our community of world builders and storytellers. If you're here from the Discord, if you're a word weaver, if you're a pictomancer, a dark magician, if you're Iron Gate Guild, let's see some emotes.
We love those emotes. Drop them in chat for us right now if you're watching at home.
Our goal here at Heroic Story is to spark the imaginations of the next generation of fantasy storytellers and all those who love a tale well told. We're a community of visual artists, writers, designers, engineers, collectors, wyvern whisperers. There's at least one wyvern whisperer in there. You name it. It's at discord.gg/heroic story.
Well, thank you, Jay. Heroic Story is a community that builds heroic worlds, and we have assembled to create a brand new fantasy realm together. Fortunata, the land of many cities, a mountain-ringed desert basin surrounded by empires who war for the treasure, magic, and monsters inside. What you're about to witness is a beta test of our game show, Bonfire. In Bonfire, storytellers have 7 rounds to build a complete story for our soon-to-be-introduced hero, each with a different prompt. Those player selections will be voted upon by each player and also by you, the audience, live here on stream. Points will be awarded to the round winners, and the storyteller with the highest point total at the end will receive an ember from the flame imperishable. As we all know, a good story is a flame that never extinguishes and is passed on throughout time. The cohesiveness of our story depends on the answers chosen by the group and how well they are connected between each round. The answers could be funny, they could be dramatic, they could be poetic, they could be nonsensical, they could even be non sequiturs. That all depends on where the storytellers decide to take it. But no matter what, the answers become lore for the Fortunata universe for all time, by my decree. And guess what, dear audience? You too will have a say playing against our 3 contestants as the 4th player. But this game is in beta and ever evolving, so Jay, can you preview some of the changes for this week's game?
Yes, I can. So if you're new, don't worry. We're going to explain how everything works. Chronicle here is extremely good. He's got a melodic voice. But for our returning players in chat, you'll be excited to hear that we've got a new minigame, Rhyme Time, that we're adding to the mix. So for some rounds, players will have to do their best Fezzik imitation. The script is telling me to do a deep cut Princess Bride reference, but I don't even know who Fezzik is off the top of my head. So somebody look that up and tell me in chat, and we're going to come up with some rhymes on the fly. We're also going to have a halftime during the show where we check on our auction for last week's Fortunata Origin. And we also have a clockwork golem working with us behind the scenes. They'll be using the magic of artificial intelligence to instantaneously generate imagery for the story we're creating as it proceeds.
It's insane to me that you don't know that Fezzik is Andre the Giant. Rhyming, and I mean it. Does anyone want a peanut? This is insane to me. Okay, looking forward to seeing some help. You have never seen The Princess Bride. We have got to sit down and watch this together, Jay. You and I, you're going to enjoy it.
Just not as many times as you.
I have seen it so many times. I grew up with it. It is one of my favorite films of all time. Okay, looking forward to seeing how these elements play out. But first, it's time to meet the mere mortals who dare enter the bonfire circle. Who are these adventurers armed with nothing but their wits, imagination, and keyboards, and the sheer audacity to go up against you in chat? Well, let's meet them now. In our first player's seat is Amy Vorpahl. Amy Vorpahl is an actor, writer, and pro D&D player. Her adventures and jokes have been published in official D&D hardback books, and she sings and writes songs on her 2 nerdy music albums, including her latest, Behold Her Dreams. Welcome, Amy. Growing up, my favorite magic item was the Sword of Omen from the Thundercats cartoon. What was your favorite magic item growing up?
Oh, well, first of all, when I wrote that intro, I didn't know you'd be reading it like that. I would have thrown in a few more like beholds and low do I says, you know?
Hark.
Harks. Yeah, some harks would be in there. Some hails maybe. Yeah. Okay. Favorite magic item growing up. I have to say that it's the Vorpahl sword, and it always has been, always will be. And that's from the Jabberwocky. My last name is actually Vorpahl, from a long line of Vorpahls. In Old German, it means boundary pole, which is less exciting than than Lewis Carroll's version, which means deadly. So, yeah, I think I was just the only one who took up the mantle and was like, oh, this is my last. Everyone thinks I changed my name because of, you know, the D&D 1-to-1 crossover.
Just happened to work out.
I had a shirt for the longest time. I gave it to my little sister that said my other sword is Vorpahl. It had a little drawing of the sword. I need that shirt again, or to make it. Anyway, That's it. It's a +5 in 3.5. It was a +5. It was the highest, or it was +4. It was the second highest magical item. And if you crit on a 19 or 20, it decapitated your opponent. Yeah, should they have a head? That was a prerequisite. They needed a head to get actually decapitated.
Well, Amy, I am so glad you're here. It's very good to see you, friend.
It's good to see you too. Yeah. Chronicle.
All right, player number 2 is Abraham Smith. Abraham Smith is an actor and comedian with a very prestigious and totally useless MFA from NYU's graduate acting program. You may have seen him in the film Love, Sex, and Misconnections, or on Evan Funny's own That Moment When. Or you might have heard him as the English language dubbed voice of the antagonist in Netflix's Turkish vampire series, The Immortals. No, that last credit is not a joke. Welcome, Abraham. Same question to you. What is your favorite magic item from growing up?
I will answer that. First, I want to say I also didn't know that was going to be read verbatim, but you did it with aplomb. I also wanted to say I noticed that boundary pole actually fits the same meter as Vorpahl sword. You could say his boundary pole went snicker snack.
I would never say that. I would never say that.
You lose something in the translation, doesn't it?
No, it gains something that I really don't wish.
Gains something you don't want. Yeah, so I might have sort of pedestrian taste in magical items, but for me, I got to say it was the blue ring from the original Zelda. Zelda game. Oh. I think because it was one of the few things when I was, 7 and playing the game, I actually found on my own without consulting a friend or a Nintendo Power ringer, and then also because years later, I remember having a conversation in freshman year in college. I don't know how it came up, but we all remembered how to find the blue ring. And I was like, this blue ring is not just something that halves the damage that the moblins do to you. This blue ring is sort of a generational touchstone. So it means it has outsized importance to me.
Indeed. Well, I played a lot of Zelda when I was a kid as well, and the blue ring is also one. I do enjoy it a lot. Zelda is one of my favorite.
Lion-O sword is up there for me. So.
Oh yeah, there we go. All right, already got got some energy going on. I enjoy it. All right, player 3 tonight is Brooke Seguin, creator and artistic director of LA-based 30-minute musicals, actor, writer, director, professional podcast guest, cookie enthusiast, Googleable. Welcome, Brooke. Did I get your last name right?
I didn't even notice it because everybody gets it wrong, so I never.
Okay. Is it Seguin or Seguin?
It's Seguin, like
Seguin. Okay. Brooke
Like
Seguin.
Carl.
I won't get it wrong.
Yeah, closer to Carl. Yeah. Oh, Frabjous Day, Kalu Kale.
Well done. So, what is your favorite magic item from growing up?
It'd have to be gummy berry juice.
Oh, gummy bears.
Gummy berry juice.
Bouncing here and there and everywhere.
And
the gummy bears. Absolutely.
Did you now? I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you like how it made the gummy bears bounce, or how it made humans super strong?
Both.
Both. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to be super bouncy when I drank it, but I was human, so that's not.
Yeah, it's
unfortunately.
Does
and
not.
what a song! What a song!
Indeed. Still, I can hear it in my head right now. I can hear
it.
All right, player 4 tonight is you, audience. And I've got the same question for you. What was your favorite magic item from when you were growing up? We'd love to hear what you've got to say. Drop it in chat for us now. And before we begin, I've got to ask you guys, how are you feeling about your chances today? Brooke, let's start with you. Do you think you're going to win it? How do you feel about going into this game?
I feel like I'm not going to win it.
I like that confidence.
We're going to have a vote. I'd probably vote for the audience. I feel like the audience is going to run away with it. But
you are already trying to get the audience on your side. I love it. I love it.
Very, very smart.
All right. What about you, Abraham? Or do you prefer Abe?
Yeah, I do not care. They're both.
Do not care.
All right. I usually introduce myself as Abraham because otherwise people will say, Dave, it's so nice to meet you, Dave. But then also if you introduce yourself as Abraham, it sets the bar pretty high because you've got our greatest president and God's best friend. So I'm at best the third finest of Abrahams. But
I'm into it.
In terms of my chances to it, you know how like on reality TV shows people will say like, "Hey, I'm not here to make friends. I am just here to make friends. I don't care if I win."
Well, that's what I hope. I hope that vibe wins. That's how I feel. I don't know that's necessarily how this game is played.
Yeah.
But Amy, how are you feeling about going into this game?
Yeah, look, you don't grow up a twin without a competitive spirit. So I'm here to crush everybody and take no names and maybe make someone bleed on the inside. I don't know.
Oh, wow, you heard it, everybody.
Okay, all right. Well, then I already have one in my heart. If Brooke is bleeding out from an organ, feels good. No, yeah, I'm gonna go for it, man. I really do want to win. I will say I don't know if I will win because Abe was crushing it in the practice.
I used up all my good ideas. So
okay.
Well, today we're going to build story lore for the world of Fortunata via this exciting game show. But first, we need a story spark. Now, the story spark consists of 2 items, the first of which is a visual component. The visual component for this evening comes to us from the art contests that we run in our Heroic Story Discord. Our artists were tasked with coming up with a drawing of the hereditary ceremonial weapon of the General of Grenadine. This is Dardaleza's Fang, an ancient weapon of Fortunata, created by Nime. It is the focus of today's story. Will you guys take a look at this?
Wow.
The art that comes out of our community is incredible.
That is super cool.
Pardon my masshole, but that is wicked cool.
Yeah.
Wicked cool.
It's like
this is now my new favorite weapon from my childhood.
My extended childhood. It's
I feel like if I saw that on the poster,
but stabby.
Indeed.
And
it is very stabby.
Nime is just like, well, I got to draw like a ceremonial sword, but you know what? I'm going to draw a dragon too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's technically a worm, right? Like there's no, maybe I don't see the wings on the dragon.
They're in the reflection of the like bleeding, sparking moon.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow,
that's
yeah,
absolutely cool. That's the upswing. That's my armpit sweat.
A magical sword does need a magical setting, and I think the moon with fairy dust raining down is perfect.
This is what we will use as our input for tonight's game. We have a written component to our Story Spark as well. And now it's time for the written component. Each week on the Heroic Story Discord, we hold writing contests to create the lore of Fortunata. You inspired me, and I wove the lore into this magical Story Spark. Long ago, during the time of the Nameless Kingdom, the dragons of Fortunata ruled the Skykeep, the Citadel, and the Emerald Tower, where they hoarded ancient treasure. Dardaleza's Fang was one such treasure, forged by the Dragon Lord from the tooth of his eldest son. But when the Nameless Kingdom fell, the dragons vanished, and the history of their treasure was lost. Tonight, we tell the story of what happened to this sword, Dardaleza's Fang, and restore its history to Fortunata for all time. But first, we need a protagonist. I have 3 scrolls. In each scroll, there is the name and description of someone important who held Dardaleza's Fang as it passed down through the generations. You, the audience, are going to help decide which one we will choose. Now, imagine laying before you 3 scrolls with a wax seal emblazoned with the following ancient symbols. These symbols represent the type of protagonist. The first symbol is a cracked shield. The second, a burning fist. And finally, on the third symbol, an ornate lute. Which scroll do you choose? It's time to let me know in chat right now.
I don't have a...
Well, there's an ornate lute. Thank you for that, Amy. That was beautiful, as always.
I have a degree in ukulele.
All right, so far, we've got some votes for 1, 3, and 2. How do you feel? Amy, what do you think? Cracked shield, burning fist, ornate lute. What would you like to see chosen?
Well, if it's representative of a hero, I got to go with ornate lute just because it seems like that might be of a bardic nature. And I feel like that's just going to create a wild story to have a bard, like a bit of a trickster, a bit of a jack of all trades, wielding Dardaleza's Fang.
Perfect. Abraham, what do you think?
Agreed. For me to identify with this protagonist, I'm not a fighter and my hands are not on fire. So I think, though I'm not a musician, I'm more of a yarn spinner. So I want to see what the lute has to say.
I hear you. And Brooke, what about you?
Lute.
It's
ornate. It's fancy. It's going to be a good time. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that. It's pretty strong amongst our players and our storytellers this evening. They all choose a lute, but it's not up to them. It's up to all of you. So make sure you get your votes in chat right now so that you can influence how our story is told this evening. Jay, right now, it looks like 3 is pretty strong. You know, someone at Effin Funny just put 3 a bunch in a row. So I don't know if that counts towards our...
He's just a big Larry Bird fan. That's 33-33.
I am your father.
Yes.
well done, Murderfingers. And also well done on the name. Chronicle, I just want to know, where are you getting these scrolls? I'm looking at the script. It doesn't say anything about where you get...
me every time. I'm telling you. I'm inspired, and I spin it directly from my inspiration.
Oh.
Unbelievable.
I know.
Wow,
off script, working with you.
Off script already.
Already off script.
I know.
All right. Still waiting on our vote this evening. It still looks like 3 is in the lead, 2 close behind.
I think it's because 1, a cracked shield might represent a warrior, which is a little on the nose for holding a sword. And I think a burning fist is like a monk. You're going to want some fists that do magic, and maybe they can't wield a magic sword. And then a bard has no business with that sword.
Interesting.
Like it's more of a Bilbo-y story, I think.
I see. It definitely gives us a more interesting take on the sword for sure. Great. Yeah. All right. I think 3 has gotten it. We're going to move on, choosing scroll number 3.
We're number 3.
The ornate lute. Tonight, as we unfurl the scrolls, we discover this is our written piece for our story spark. Tonight's hero, Pen She, a jealous bard from the land of Lestia. Their pronouns are she, her. So the story spark has ignited. Here it is in full form, both the written and visual components that we'll be using to build off of this evening. Now, I bet you're wondering, dear storytellers, how do I play this bonfire you speak of? So here's how the rounds work. Each round corresponds to one spot in the hero's journey and will result in one phrase that will be cemented into the story. Each round consists of 2 phases. First, the nomination phase. I'll provide a specific prompt with the rules for the player's entries, and each player and the audience will have 120 seconds to submit. Then we'll finish with the voting phase. Each of the players will now have the opportunity to cast a single vote for their favorite entry. You cannot vote for your own entry on Bonfire. Scoring works as follows. The winner of the round gets 1 point for every vote that they get from their fellow players. The rest get nothing. And in case you want to try to get clever and vote for a bad one so yours has a better chance of winning, well, don't. Because you also get a point if you choose the winning answer. Since there are 4 players, ties will be decided by yours truly.
Nice.
The Chronicle. Because, you know, I'm the Chronicle and I've got magic abilities.
One host to rule them all.
That's right. Keep in mind, this is a competitive and cooperative game. So, yes, you're vying for the coveted ember of the flame imperishable. But the stronger and more cohesive the story we make together, the better the story will be in the end. And that's how we all win. At the end of the game, we'll turn this story into a 1-of-1 digital collectible, a Fortunata original, a rare and legendary card that will be up for auction. For more information about the auction, be sure to join us at the Heroic Story Discord. All right. Those are the sacred written in stone rules that I'm sure are going to change next week. But for now, let the bonfire begin.
Okay, so just before the kindling strikes, so Pen She is going to encounter this sword, and something epic is going to happen, and that is your duty.
Yeah.
To tell that story.
Players, if you're ready, please press the join button to claim your seat in the game. A note for today's game. We're still playtesting, so we appreciate your patience while we work out some bugs, even if they're human-based. And in fact, you can help us with that by joining our Discord and leaving feedback. Welcome, Amy. Welcome, Brooke. And welcome, Abraham.
I'm going to replay this whole stream to go to sleep at night because Chronicle, your mellifluous tones are captivating.
Dulcet.
Well, thank you.
Dulcet, even.
I appreciate that. You're making me blush. And I don't know how
timorous baritone.
My boundary pole is making you blush?
You are. You're just
hey, is that a boundary
so nice to me and complimentary. Are you trying to get extra points?
If I could, yes, I would be doing that, yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of that power. So, all right, now we're ready to play Bonfire. Our story's focus is an ancient sword. No,
sorry.
Yeah, I apologize. The audience has not yet joined. I can't start just yet.
What's the name of the sword again?
Our story is Dardaleza's Fang.
Dardaleza's Fang.
And our protagonist is Pen She, a jealous bard from Lestia. Jay, what can you tell us about Lestia?
Oh, what can I tell you about Lestia? The Lestian Empire lies to the east of Fortunata, the land of many cities. It's many oasis cities. Some of the interesting dynamics around Fortunata It's this mountain ring desert basin. The desert of no return contains the ruins of the nameless kingdom, a doomed sorcerer civilization, of which Dardaleza's Fang seems to be from. It's surrounded on all sides by these 4 empires. The Lesia Empire is to the east. They cannot wage war in the basin because of logistics, so they compete through assassins and spies, politics and trade, secret courts, magicians. And the one interesting thing about Lestia is on the east, there is the city of Grenadine, and it is the only city controlled by one of these empires inside Fortunata, and it is ruled by a hereditary general who somehow acquired this sword in the current timeline of the community story.
And who is Dardaleza?
Dardaleza?
Dardaleza
seems to be potentially the Dragon Lord's eldest son.
Right, because it was made literally of his Fang.
Yes.
Got it.
Storytellers, you'll be building off of this knowledge. So ready or not,
wait, I don't know.
Our first
How did
round.
this happen? How did we all not be players and Sandeep freaking is the only player? Did he just, what is, I thought.
Oh, I apologize. I've just been informed that we need to rejoin. We've reset the join round.
Fine.
As I said earlier, we are still playtesting a beta test. So thank you very much for your patience watching at home.
I just was not going to accept that Sandeep was the only.
All right, go ahead and join again, players.
I love joining.
Yes. Brooke is in. Abe is in. Amy is in. Waiting on our audience, and our audience is in.
Hey,
all right,
the joiner.
It's time to start our first round. Our first round this evening is the ordinary world. You'll have 5 words. The protagonist starts in an ordinary world. Describe where they are in life, what the status quo, what is their everyday. You'll have 5 words, 120 seconds. It all starts right now. Jay, I've got to say, I think that we're going to have a great game this evening. Already, our storytellers are energetic and excited. They're asking the best questions. I'm so excited.
They're using big words like mellifluous
and dulcet.
I can't only imagine the vocabulary we're gonna see on display here.
I'm giddy. Like I'm literally giddy inside. Like I feel like I should be like
I mean,
I'm so excited right now.
Also,
congratulations, Brooke. You were the first player across the finish line.
Whoops.
Damn. Well done.
Very well done.
Audience right behind you. How do you feel about your answer, Brooke? Was this easy for you? Did you have something right off the top of your head?
Yeah, I just saw the picture in my head of what Pinchy was doing.
Right.
What ordinary life was like.
Wonderful.
Abe and Amy
are both in. It was easy?
No, I said Barden ain't easy. I'm sympathizing
with
poor Pinchy.
That's very true. Barden ain't easy. You still got 45 seconds. If for some reason you think of something stronger than you've already entered, feel free to enter the new thing if you so choose. Barden ain't easy. How you feeling? How are you feeling? Uh-oh.
Are you talking to me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I was writing. Sorry. I was changing my answer. But I'm happy with it now. Ron? Chronicle?
Mwahaha, I've taken over Ron.
Ron my sound system decided to just crap out on me. I'm so sorry. I apologize. It's now time to get to our voting phase. Number 1, making music and breaking hearts. Number 2, busking for tips in Lestia. Number 3, feeding the outdoor chickens daily. And number 4, dim taverns playing for mead.
Ooh.
A lot of really great options here. I apologize once again for my failure of my computer. We're all good now. All right. How does everyone feel here? If you would like to vote, please choose the button with the number that corresponds to what you believe answered the best.
I like this because it's the hierarchy of needs. We've got Maslow's here. So so it looks like she is either going for love, money, food, or chickens. And those are Maslow's hierarchy.
Chickens, food and love.
Yes, we could be either.
One bird.
Beat me to it. That's what I was going to say. Audience, keep in mind, drop your vote in chat right now as well to make sure you get your vote in. All right, how are you feeling, Abe? Which one do you like?
I gravitated immediately towards the chickens.
The chickens.
It just
Jay,
paints such a word picture. Plus, I didn't write it, so it's on the table.
I'm a sucker for a good animal, so also
Busking for tips in Lestia is also kind of an ordinary world I can relate to.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
very
We've all been there.
Yeah, especially very bardic. That's it, right? I mean, It's very bardic. All right, we've got all our votes in. It's time to see who the winner is. Winner is Vorpahl, Amy Vorpahl, with Busking for Tips in Lestia.
Woo!
Amy, I'd like to let you know both Brooke and the audience voted for you. That's why you got 2 points this round.
That makes me feel so special. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. I think, I loved including the detail that showed that I was paying attention to what y'all were saying.
Oh, yeah. You used the word Lestia.
I know. I learned that in 3rd grade to repeat the question in the answer.
Tell them what you're going to tell them.
All right. So after our first round, in the lead with 2 points is Amy Vorpahl. Tied for second, Brooke, and the audience with 1 point. Abe, you aren't yet on the board. I'm sorry.
0 is a nice round number, Chronicle. I'm down.
It is. You're right.
Wait.
It is an even number. And
Brooke, what was yours?
The chickens.
the chickens.
I like for my protagonist to have had to deal with animal shite before they go on to something heroic.
That's fantastic.
They need a mean.
Well, I'm sorry you didn't win this round, Brooke, but chickens was my favorite as well. So for the winning the round, Amy gets 1 point and also 2 points. Excuse me, 1 point for winning the round and 2 points for those who chose yours as well. So let's recap our story so far. Jay, I hear that you have something new for us to see. Should we see it?
So I think we should.
I believe it's a clockwork golem, I'm told.
I have somehow created a clockwork golem and used some AI tomfoolery, and it's interpreted the story so far for us with an image.
All right. So a recap so far.
A very Venus.
I was going to say busking on a foamy clamshell.
We have Penshi, a jealous bard from Lestia, who is busking for tips in Lestia. Amy,
not naked though, not naked, very clearly clothed.
All right, thank you. That was very clear. That is now very clear.
Not a lot of
Amy,
tips.
as the winner. Amy, as the winner, I would like you to come up with a sound effect, noise, or short phrase of dialogue that will act as a marker and identifier for this round. In each subsequent rounds, you will have to continue this highlight. So I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Please give us a sound effect, noise, or short phrase of dialogue that goes along with busking for tips in Lestia.
I take requests, but no more Freebird.
I love it. I take requests, but no more Freebird. Wonderful.
Wonderful. Do I know something about this world? Maybe I do. Is this my personal experience?
Maybe. All right. Now it's time for round 2. Round 2 is the heart's desire. What is it that the character of Pen Shi truly at their heart needs? Maybe they're actively aware of it. Maybe they aren't. What is their heart's desire? Your acronym is going to be ACHE. That means your response will be 4 words. The first word starting with A, the second with C, the third with H, and a final 4th word with E.
Well, that's good.
You're going to get 120 seconds. It starts right now.
What is a bardic for?
The heart's desire, Jay, ache. You know, I think that there's an aching inside. Amy had a strong option already. Amy, without revealing, can you give us a little thematic element here you went with?
I mean, I went a little, I think, that's hard without giving it away, but I think I went a little on the nose, and I just love that we chose bards, and we're all bards here, so we can relate, and we can kind of just go into what our deepest desires are. So I think we're all, but I can definitely say I am a little bit role-playing as Pen Shi right now.
Great. I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. You're role-playing. Yes. Abe, I saw that you got your answer in without telling us or ruining the surprise for us. Could you give us some thematic feel for what you went with? Oh, I don't think we can hear you, Abe.
Oh, did I go to the wrong place?
There it is.
Did I mute myself?
No, I can hear you now.
Maybe I was just being quiet, but that doesn't sound like me. I think that Blestia is Pen Shi's home, and Pen Shi wants to feel welcome and loved.
I like that.
There we go.
I like that. Cared for. Wants to feel cared for. I think we can all relate to that on some level, for sure. For sure. Well done. Brooke, I see you're in as well. With, you know, you're only 1 point behind Amy, so I feel like your answer here has to be pretty strong. Do you feel like you did it?
I feel like I didn't.
Oh, man. I'm sorry. I after your first answer, I for sure thought you would feel strong.
Great.
Like that was such a great one.
I don't know.
All right, it's time to vote. Our first answer is attention can heal everything. Number 2, a chord heard everlasting. Number 3, a comforting hometown embrace. And number 4, azure crystal heart earrings. That's interesting. Good. Jay, how do you feel about these 4 options?
I mean, I'm into the embrace because I feel like Pen Shi is so lonely that it like I kind of feel it like I want an embrace inhabiting my imagined inner world of hers. But the crystal heart earrings, I mean, that's, you know, it's very bling.
For me, what speaks to my own bardic heart is attention can heal everything. Man, do I feel that. I feel that deep in my core. That was a good one. Make sure you get your votes in. I believe we're just waiting on our audience.
Altogether, it makes quite the Walden Pond poem.
Yeah, indeed. Attention can heal everything. A chord heard everlasting. A comforting hometown embrace. Azure crystal heart.
Simplify.
Yep.
Amazing.
That was incredible. Still checking in with the audience to see what they want to vote. It seems like there's a little bit of a split, but they've decided. Let's see who the winner is. Winner of round 2 is Abraham Smith with a comforting hometown embrace.
Oh,
congratulations, Abraham.
Thank you.
You win. After our second round, we have a 4-way tie. 4-way tie. Everybody has 2 points.
Wow.
I think that is incredible. I don't know that we've ever had that before, Jay. Can you remember a time that this has occurred?
Never in the history of this fire.
Oh.
Wow.
Brooke,
I'm proud to be a part of the first 4-way.
Indeed, the first 4-way here on Bonfire. And I think that's a perfect time for us to have a brief intermission where the players can take a little bio break, stretch their legs, down some performance-enhancing mushroom tea, and where we get to check in on the auction of the NFT we generated last week.
All right.
You'll recall that we created a story for an ancient sword. Excuse me, that is not what we did. Last week was Razor. Jay, tell us a little bit about what's going on with this NFT here.
Yeah, so every week what we do, what you're witnessing, what you're helping take part in is forging this legendary one-of-one digital artifact from Fortunata Origin that we mint. We auction off with the proceeds from this auction, from this sale, funding community world building contests. And in our community, discord.gg/heroic story. I know some of you are in the audience right now. Every week we're running writing and art contest where the storytellers are talking with each other, debating lore, and working on developing and deepening these characters and their history and their connection to reveal the world of Fortunata. And that writing and that art becomes the seed of next week's Bonfire of the Spark. Yes. And so it's the beginning, like we're in beta test. It's the beginning of our saga. So some of these characters have, been developing their own memes, their own relationships with each other, their own relationships to the community, and this art from Podsicles is really, really, really awesome.
Yeah, that was the art from last week. It's so incredible. As you can see, the amount of detail, and both in color usage, line art, and just perspective is just so incredible. As I've said, our community has some really incredible artists, both visual and written. And if you are interested in entering our contest and being one of those artists, please join us at discord.gg/heroic story. It's incredible. It looks like, I do have the story here. Razor, the arrogant thief, sings secrets in his sleep, but his lover hears the plan to teach the greedy king an empathetic lesson. Queen Fermata, hungry for secrets, kidnaps Razor's heart to force her hand in marriage. In the courtyard of the palace Lestia, Razor plays a final mournful tune, sacrificing the instrument back to the goddess to save his love. With the horn destroyed, silence earns triumph. True love cannot be stolen. Fantastic. I love the way that these look.
They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, props to everybody whose efforts goes into crafting these.
Honestly, to be in the driver's seat here as the host of Bonfire, to see where we started and where we've come, and to know where we're going, it has been humbling. So thank you again, Jay, for including me in this process.
I'm being told that the auction info on the stream is actually off, and we have a winner on Razor.
We have a winner.
We have a winner, and it is one of our community members, Amy.
Congratulations, Amy.
Congratulations. That's really, really, really cool.
That is really cool. Amy is a regular here, one of our community members who has won a few of our contests, won this game in previous versions of it, and now an owner of one of our digital collectibles. Congratulations, Amy. Well deserved. This is the story. This is the story of Heroic Story and Bonfire. A community driven, made by a community, owned by a community. I hope you decide to join us.
Very cool.
From from over here and one Amy to another. Congrats.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys. You guys are back. I hope your potty breaks were good. Welcome back. Yeah. And I wanted to tell you,
it was amazing. It was amazing.
Did you get a chance to see our digital collectible?
Yes, it is so cool. I love that he's bringing in Rosh Hashanah. I don't know if anyone's gonna get that reference, but me. The horn resembled a shofar.
Oh, true.
Anyone but Jewish out there?
We will be creating our own that looks exactly like that at the end of this gameplay.
Yeah.
So you'll get to see it again in a different form with a different digital collectible. That again will be auctioned next week.
Cool. Maybe we'll be reading the Megillah in that one. We'll celebrate a different Jewish holiday.
All right, I believe we're ready to get back into the gameplay. You'll recall that we created a story. We started to create a story for an ancient sword known as Dardaleza's Fang.
Yes.
1 second, I apologize. Can we see... round 1 was busking for tips in Lestia. Round 2, in Our Heart's Desire, was a comforting hometown embrace. Keep in mind, our hero is Pen Shi, a jealous bard from Lestia, and they wield Dardaleza's Fang.
Wow.
Now we move into round 3. Yes, I do. Yeah, I didn't do my job in round 2. Abraham, we need to do it before we can do this recap.
Oh, yeah.
I need a sound effect. I need a sound effect, a noise, or a short phrase of dialogue that relates to your response, a comforting hometown embrace as a heart's desire.
Is there an image to go with it or anything?
I believe we should... Oh, yes, the Clockwork Golem. The Clockwork Golem, Jay.
The Clockwork Golem went to work on this one.
Nice.
Let me tell you.
I can't wait. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
That they're like messing around with each other and a lute. That's what I see.
And is that
are there two people there?
I think so.
I don't know, but it's sexy.
Interpret it as you will,
sexy.
Abraham.
I think it is someone with Harpo Marx hair snuggling a pumpkin.
Okay, so what is the sound effect, noise, or short phrase of dialogue that will be a marker or identifier for this round using this AI-generated...
I have no parents. Please love me.
All right. So, Amy, Pen Shi, a jealous bard from Lestia, has an ongoing struggle. It is busking for tips in Lestia.
I take requests, but no more Freebird.
We also know that their heart's desire is a comforting hometown embrace.
I have no parents. Please love me.
All right, and now we move in. Well done, Abraham.
To Kansas. So,
yeah.
She's from the border of Scotland and Kansas, I think.
All right, we're going to move into round 3, an unfamiliar situation. This is where we introduce the antagonist of our story. The beginning of the major obstacle, if you so choose. It is up to you, storytellers. But we're going to introduce something brand new today. As Jay indicated earlier, it's rhyme time. You're going to get 6 words, but here's the caveat. It must contain a rhyming couplet. That's right, a rhyming couplet, 6 words. It's an unfamiliar situation. We're looking for you to introduce the antagonist or the major obstacle in Pen Shi's way. You're going to get 120 seconds. Get them rhyming caps on. It all starts right now.
Whoa. What's a rhyming couplet?
A rhyming couplet? For example, this will rhyme. I'm thinking and taking up too much time.
Oh.
That was way more than 6 words, but...
Right, got it. So, the hypothesis is that maybe the sword finds its way to Pen Shi at this moment. Maybe she's met like a hometown friend, and the friend has got this sword, and the friend's in trouble.
Yeah, I think introducing the sword in this round is probably a strong choice as a storyteller. Absolutely. Okay. Vorpahl, Amy Vorpahl in already. Amy, as a bard by nature, I know that your rhyming game is strong. How do you feel about this answer?
I'm going in for another one. That's how I feel.
Oh, all right. All right. All right. Wasn't satisfied with the first answer. Gonna think about it. And I love that. Good play choice for sure.
Audience has got some ideas. An angry fan, slice that man. Find the sword, singing it.
Swing a word. Singing a word.
Right.
Yep.
Stand and fight.
Find the S word, singing a word. I always love that. You and I, we're going to have words. S words. I always thought that'd be a fun villainy thing to say.
What if we lived in a world where nobody said sword and everybody said sword?
Sword?
Yeah.
What's the sword?
Yeah. Did you get the master sword yet in Zelda?
I've been looking for that master sword. All right. That's time. It's time to vote. It looks like Abraham didn't get in time.
I just missed it.
You just missed it, Abraham. We're so sorry. Number 1, Fortunata, more like persona non grata. Number 2, an odorous troll with a treasure hole. And number 3, sings a word, finds the sword.
Oh my goodness,
I love this. I love this.
These are great.
These are fantastic. Gosh. Well done, everyone. Well done. It's time to vote. Make sure you get your votes in. Audience, you too get a vote, so make sure we hear your voice in chat. If you don't type a number, we don't know what you're thinking. Only way to know is to let us.
Damn, these are some good choices.
I entered no fewer than 4 entries. I could not make up.
Yeah, I should have just sent my first one, but I was like, no, I can refine that. I should have sent it.
I know. Yeah,
rookie mistake. Rookie mistake.
I also would like to point out for those of you.
I want to hear yours though, Abe. Will you say yours?
I was like seeking attention. I found blade retention.
Oh.
You see why I didn't want to submit.
Oh my God, blade retention.
I kept his sword. See, that's why I wanted to workshop it.
Oh, I love it.
Blade retention. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like a good motto for like knife sharpeners.
Mm-hmm. The showy one.
I'm a blade retentionist.
Yeah. Or you could have, well, don't ever do this. But when I hear retention, I can't help but hear anal in front of it. So.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just where my mind
if you're
goes.
real comfortable with your sword.
All right. All the votes are in. Let's check who the winner is. Winner is Brooke.
Hey.
With an odorous troll.
I voted for that one.
Hole.
I voted for that one too.
I was going to say while we were talking before, while the voting round was going on, that I thought that might be Brooke, but I didn't want to like call her out if it wasn't. So I'm glad I realized it was correct. Well done, Brooke. That was well done. Now, I'd like to know where your head was at and where you're trying to steer. Where do you think this story is going with that particular answer for this round?
Well, I feel as though this troll has the sword in their treasure hole.
I got it. So the troll is the antagonist, and they currently have this sword in their treasure hole. Mm-hmm. I love it. Jay, let's check in with the Clockwork Gnome and how they interpreted what Brooke just said.
Is the treasure hole external or is it an internal orifice?
Yeah.
That's a good question. The clockwork golem is generating. It needs about. Okay, it's ready. It's ready.
All right, let's check it out.
Got something.
Oh, it's a big treasure hole. The hole can fit the troll.
Right. It's like the troll can fit in the treasure hole, and now they're organizing it as trolls are wont to do.
This AI is ridiculous.
This is insane.
Yeah.
There's like a jeweled bassinet off to one side. and then a toadstool-shaped treasure repository.
And there's somehow an emotion to it too. Like I understand this troll's guarding the hell out of his collection.
All right, Brooke, it's now your turn to give us a sound, a noise, or a single line of dialogue that will be a marker and identifier for this round before I get into scoring and recap.
If you want the sword, you must climb inside my treasure hole.
Love it. Fantastic. All right.
Oh no.
After our third round,
I love it.
lead,
I love that it's assumed that Penshi's like, all right.
I do kind of want that sword.
She's got on gloves. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
After our third round, in the lead is Brooke with 5 points.
This roll is definitely single, you asshole.
And we've got a 3-way tie for second and third between Amy, the audience, and Abraham.
Wow.
It's now time to recap. I hope you're ready, storytellers. Penshi is our jealous bard from Lestia. Their ordinary world is that they're busking for tips in Lestia.
I take a request, but no more free bird.
We understand that their heart's desire is a comforting hometown embrace.
I have no parents. Please love me.
And now we're in an unfamiliar situation. An odorous troll with a treasure hole.
If you want the sword, you must climb inside my treasure hole.
Oh.
It's warm.
I feel like you got a little more
new addition to this game. I love this. This is
How
fantastic.
are we going to top this?
She's so dangerous with her fan. I didn't realize
know.
first,
The troll does have the vapors.
She's she's got.
It is hot. It's really hot and acidic down here.
Well,
if you have a glass of iced tea, I'll take it.
It's hot and acidic. Well, that's perfect because now it's time to enter round 4 when the darkness descends.
Oof.
You're going to get 6 words, storytellers. The darkness descends is the main problem drops. Our antagonist in this case is an odorous troll, but now the true intentions are revealed. You're going to get 6 words, 120 seconds. It starts.
Are they rhyming? Are we rhyming again?
There is no rhyme here, just 6 words, all up to you. It all starts right now. Jay, Why is this sound effect and dialogue at the end, it's cracking my outer shell. Like I've got to actually run the show and I can't because it's got me in my feels.
I just love it. Like Amy comes out like flying pretty strong with the lute music, and then Abe tries to top it, but then Brooke goes for like the witch's cackle. Where does it go? Where does it go next? I'm also like trying to figure out the story too, though, because like who is this hometown embrace? Is it a troll? Is it like her like, you know, that guy that she had a crush on when she was growing up and learning how to play the lute, who like left and came back and now he's a troll? And he
was on the varsity Lansing team and
exactly. And now he's like I have to tell you the story of what happened to me. Come to my home.
Let me in. It won't let me enter. Sorry.
It's okay. Words? It's all right. If we're having some issues, we can always reset the round.
4, 5, 6. Oh, maybe it doesn't like that I did that.
It might have a problem with your elevated punctuation.
No, there's no punctuation.
Are you doing it in German? They don't like that.
Oh, no. Maybe it's capitalization? No. Yeah, it's not.
No hyphens. If you're using a hyphen, no hyphen.
Okay, none of that.
Okay.
Try to erase.
It works now.
There we go.
Okay.
No hyphen.
Nice. Got it in.
Just in time.
Boom.
No, it had auto-populated answer, I think. And I think it didn't like that it auto-populated it because when I deleted it, yeah. Anyway, whatever.
All right, get it in.
It looks like we missed someone. but we shouldn't have. There were 4
in the chat. It
submissions.
says the audience.
I am going to make the decree. We will reset the round.
Okay.
Okay, powers that be, can we log that for the Dark Magicians to check on their magician rate?
Wait, we're doing it all again?
We are going to do it again. We apologize. We had some issues there. We reset the round so you can re-answer. Feel free to use the same answer you just used. Do not feel like you have to resubmit. All right. Amy is in.
Okay. Handled.
Got one.
You know, you mentioned you wanted to know what that hometown embrace was. What if that is part of the power that they use to take the sword from the troll? I'll give you a hug. I'll give you a hug if you give me the sword.
Wow.
It's my
It's like a very strange prostitute.
Well, or hugstitute. I like to call them a hugstitute.
They're a hug worker, guys. They're a hug worker.
You're right. You're right. Hug worker is
what do I have to put stank on it?
You're saying she's in a tavern. She's busking for tips. A troll comes in, and she plays him a song, and he's like, "I could tip you, or I'll give you the sword if you give me a hug."
Yes. Finally, one who is worthy of the sword.
Look, I like to think that a troll is only a troll because they lack a hug.
Oh, now we're going deep. I see where you're going. You're sort of planting the seed for the lesson learned at the end.
I mean, I'm just trying to help. You know, take it as you will. You guys take it as you want. I have no influence other than I am the Chronicle. All right, we've got all of our answers in. We're waiting on a couple of seconds to get to the voting phase. Amy, how you feeling about your answer here?
I feel really good.
You're tied for second, so...
I know, with everybody.
Yeah. All right, it's time to vote. Number 1, troll offers only embrace or sword. Number 2, cursed sword with vampiric bloodlust. Number 3, this blade bestows glory and downfall.
Wow.
And number 4, now sing for sword to sing.
Swing. Chronicle.
Swing. I apologize.
So
now sing for sword to swing.
Does that mean the sword is activated by song?
Maybe the sword is activated by song.
And like another couplet that was, bonus point.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or does it mean if you keep singing, I'm going to
start swinging?
Cut your lute in half?
Yeah. The troll's like, keep singing, I'm going to start swinging.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you guys get your votes in. Audience, you too. Let us know which one you'd like to vote for. What were you saying, Amy?
I think it has to be you sing to get the sword to come to you. Otherwise, it's like, now if you sing, I'll fight you. And then Penshi's got to be like, all right, I do want that sword, so I'm going to climb into your treasure hole. And for sure, I want to fight. Like, there's a lot of decisions that Penshi's making that are arguably bad. But thus a hero is born.
Well, she's also a jealous bard, and we all know what jealousy gets you.
That's true.
That's right. That's right.
It's a bad way to live.
Right. That's her main.
It's a bad way to live.
Oh yeah, maybe it actually is like the devil went down to Georgia, and he's like the troll, or she.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sing, I'll sing, and whoever wins. I mean.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
You get my shiny treasure hole made of gold.
But if you lose, the troll is in the hole.
Sorry, nobody wanted it.
All right, I think our audience is close to deciding. Waiting on it. There is some opinions in the audience.
Ooh, I love opinions.
Is that right?
The audience put in Retro Note and Setsu put in Cursed Sword with Vampiric Bloodlust.
All right. Audience has voted. Let's see who the winner is. Winner is Abraham Smith with This Blade Bestows Glory and Downfall.
Yes.
Kept it ominous but vague.
Abe, let us know. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about where your head is at and what you intended for the story to move forward with this answer.
Yeah, so as I understand it, we're piecing together mythology in like a previous epoch of this fantastical land. So if this person was once a wielder of the blade, particularly if she is a bard and therefore an inexperienced warrior, then it seems that there has to be a catch. This beautiful blade must come with a price.
I like that.
I like
That's sort of where my head was at.
Raises the stakes.
I was totally sincere for a minute. Was that?
No, that's exactly. Look,
That's
what I hear you saying is you wanted to raise the stakes, and I feel like this really does when the darkness descends.
I voted for that one.
Yes,
Amy
voted for it, as did the audience.
The Devil Went Georgia.
It feels like this might be a tragedy for Penshi.
Indeed, it could
jealous.
very well be.
She definitely needs to learn a lesson. I'm committed to teaching her a dang lesson in this story.
Jay, what does the Clockwork Gnome think about Abe's suggestion?
Well, the Clockwork Gnome firstly just chatted at me and was like, "Tell him I'm a goddamn golem," and secondly, show the image. This thing's got a mind of its own.
Whoa!
Oh no! Oh my god!
Things are not going well.
Oh my gosh!
Things have taken a bit of a turn.
The sword corrupts you. Like,
It's also very clear that the Clockwork Golem is upset that I keep calling it a gnome.
I think I mean, have you played One Too Many Gnomes and it's
have.
anything that begins with G in fantasy is a gnome.
That's correct.
Harry Potter and the Gnome of Fire.
Amazing.
All right. Abraham, you won. We need a sound, a noise, or a single line of dialogue to go along with your answer and this image.
I think this is blood will be spilled. Whose is up to you?
All right. Let's recap, shall we? We've got Penshi, our jealous bard from Lestia. They have an ordinary world in which they're busking for tips in Lestia.
I take requests, but no more Freebird.
Their heart's desire is a comforting hometown embrace.
I have no parents. Please love me.
An unfamiliar situation arises when an odorous troll appears with a treasure hole.
If you want the sword, you must climb inside my treasure hole.
Well, the darkness descends when this blade bestows glory and downfall.
Blood will be spilled. Whose is up to you?
Wow.
Guys,
think
I
that's
love this.
I do too. I love this little addition. Effing funny, bringing this game Bonfire to the next level every week. I hope you'll join us with next week as well. But before we do that, we're about to round 5. A callback results in a plan. Your acronym is going to be SCORCHED.
Oh, okay.
SCORCHED.
Wow. Oh my
8 words. 8 words.
And
callback
so
results. Go ahead.
Well, I'm sorry. What is the category again?
A callback results in a plan. So you want to call back to a previous moment in the story. It is up to you, storytellers, which moment you use, what you call back. It results in a plan dealing with the darkness descending, that the blade bestows glory and downfall. So now our hero comes up with a callback. It comes up with a plan that includes a callback to solve our problem. You're going to get 8 words in 120 seconds. But before we do, it's a wager round. What that means, players, what that means is you'll be giving an additional 30 seconds to wager. So first we're going to wager. The way you wager is a / wager and the number of points you would like to wager. Everything functions as normal. The only difference is if you win those points. But if you lose, if you wager and lose, you lose those points. If you don't want to risk any at all, storytellers, just type / wager space and the number 0. You're going to get 30 seconds. Well, it's actually longer than 30 seconds. If you'd like to wager, it's time to wager. So type in your wager now. And keep in mind, if you don't want to wager, we still need you to type / wager and then 0 points. I've got Amy's wager.
Oh, we wager before we write the answer?
Yes, you wager before you write the answer. Abraham has wagered.
Are we meant to write the answer, or are we still
paused? Wait on there. Just right now, just the wager. After we get through the wager, we will move on to the next round. Just waiting on audience and Brooke. Brooke has wagered. Audience, you too can now wager. Make sure to let us know in the chat what you would like to wager. So far, I see I say overwhelming, but many of you have indicated you'd like to wager 0. Audience, I think that's a smart move.
Audience is
just my opinion.
Good. They want that ember of the flame imperishable. Is it true you can trade that for a hug with the troll?
That's the word on the street. That is the rumor at the inn. All right, all our wagers are in. It looks like it's time to move on to our round. A callback results in a plan. Your acronym is Scorched. You'll get 120 seconds. It starts right now.
That's so many letters. Oh my God.
It is a lot of letters. Look, it's only going to get harder as we continue. 120 seconds, 8 words with specific leading letters. Scorch. Abraham answered that.
Yes, I learned
record time. Get well done, Abraham.
Fast.
You got to be feeling confident here.
Scorched
with an 8-word answer in under a second.
Excellent diction.
Nice. Let's take a look at what our audience has to say. She can only reach cold-hearted eternal dirges.
We'll read those out loud because then we'll know we're supposed to be voting anonymously.
I'm sorry. You're very correct. I get excited about good answers in chat. I guess I should probably not read them out loud.
This is a real test of wits.
It is. 55 seconds left, players. Amy's in. Well done, Amy. How you feeling about this one?
I don't think it makes a lot of sense, but I used a lot. Well, it's great, and y'all should vote for it.
I like it. Brooke, how you feeling?
I feel great. Feel great. Feeling great.
Feeling great. Feel great. Feeling great.
Who knows if it makes sense or not, but okay.
Just to recap, because I realized I did not, we have a 2-way tie for the lead between Abraham and Brooke, and a 2-way tie for third between Amy and the audience. So who wagered and what they answered has a lot of impact going forward. Seconds left on the clock to get your answers in.
I'm living with my first one.
I like it, Abe. All right, it's time to vote. Number 1, she can only recall childhood humiliations and despair. Wow. Sun comes, ogre retreats, chest heya, heyo, enter Dardaleza.
Wow.
Number 3, sword can offer redemption. Could he embrace descendants? And number 4, singing can only ruin children's hearing. Egads, damn.
These are so good.
These are so good.
I love, these are like comic book answers. These are great.
No matter who wins.
We all
did really well.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
The English language is the big winner.
And our audience is a big winner too.
Props to Egads for making it in capitalized.
Indeed. Egads, damn.
All right.
I feel like now I have to follow, every time I use the word egads, I now have to follow it with the word damn.
Egads.
Otherwise it's not going to have impact.
If you say egads, you at some point also have to say poppycock. It's
egads. Poppycock, damn.
Not just damn. Egads, poppycock, damn.
Damn.
Oh, someone.
Egads, damn. Poppycock. It works in all forms. All right, waiting on our audience. Audience, make sure you get your opinion on what should be voted for your wager. You never know how many points you might win or lose if you don't enter your opinion. Should give it to us. All right, it looks pretty close to a tie right now.
Oh, exciting.
There is a little bit of a discussion back and forth between 2 and 3.
Oh.
All right, votes are in. Let's see the winner. Winner is Abraham Smith.
Nice.
Which he can only recall childhood humiliations and despair. Here's one thing I have to tell you, Abraham. You won 6 points in that round. Brooke,
Wow.
Amy, and the audience voted for you.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Before I get to the recap of the story and the scoring, Jay, what is our clockwork golem think of Abraham's answer?
Well, it's generated something that is uploading to our mainframe. I don't know. I mean, if we wanted to know what the machines think of childhood humiliations, we're about to find out.
This is so
Maybe they're really in favor of it.
Yeah, it's like sunshine and rainbows.
It's up. Powers that be.
Let's see it.
Ooh.
This actually is incredibly sunny.
It's
really.
Pleasant. It's very pleasant.
Childhood.
Georgia O'Keeffe loves childhood humiliation.
Yes,
she sure does.
Childhood humiliations that they think of fondly.
Well, but also she is trying to end her despair. That's
all right, Abraham.
Yeah.
It's up to you. We need a noise, a sound effect, or a single line of dialogue that goes along with this answer. And
okay, all right. Do you mind if I talk it out for a second?
Go right ahead. Talk it out.
Like on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Sure, absolutely.
Here's a current reference. Let's talk about pods now. So my thinking was that perhaps she's despairing about her her life as it has so far played out as a sort of a jealous bard, if you will, to invent a phrase. And the sword is sort of offering her a new path, a new identity. And as it brings glory, perhaps, as well as downfall, maybe obviously the glory would have to come first. So this seems to be some sort of promising sunrise of an occasion for her to embrace her warrior side. I'm wondering if she receives the sword and slays the troll immediately.
All right.
But she's promised. Okay, this is see the sunlight gleam on my blade.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Let's recap. We've got Pen-Chi. Pen-Chi's a jealous bard from Lestia. We know that their ordinary world is that they like to they are busking for tips in Lestia.
I take requests, but no more free bird.
Their heart's desire is a comforting hometown embrace.
I have no parents. Please love me.
An unfamiliar situation arises when an odorous troll appears with a treasure hole.
If you want the sword, you must climb into my treasure hole.
And then the darkness descends because this blade bestows glory and downfall.
Blood will be spilled. Whose is up to you?
A callback results in a plan, and she can only recall childhood humiliations and despair.
See the sunlight glint off my blade.
All right. It's now time to change it up a bit.
Ooh.
That's right. It's time to enter hard mode.
Oh no.
But to offset the new rules for hard mode, in the next
pull,
2 rounds, you will be offered 150 seconds to come up with your answers. But there's a reason why. Our next round is round 6, victory or defeat. And it's now time for a rhyme time.
Uh-oh.
You'll get 8 words, which must include a minimum of 1 rhyme. But the more you rhyme, the more likely you are to win. So it's up to you. Every word can rhyme more than 1 rhyme. It has to include at least 1 rhyme. 8 words. We're looking for victory or defeat. It's time for hard mode. 150 seconds starts right now.
It's like hard mode for Pen Shi and hard mode for our players.
Hmm.
Eight words. I thought 7 was the highest number.
And must include one rhyme.
I thought there was no number bigger than 7, and here you introduce 8.
8. Well, we did 8 last round as well, and callback results in a plan. How are you feeling, Jay, about the story so far? Where do you think things should go in this round?
I know in the present day timeline that this sword has found its way into the hands of the general of Grenadine, and he is on his way in caravan to join the army at the Dead Lake, where they've uncovered a tomb of the ancient dragons. And it's believed that the sword unlocks this tomb. Now, Pen Shi is in a hole with a troll sometime in the past and has inherited this sword. Is Pen Shi, she's from Lesia, is her journey going to connect her to this line of generals in Grenadine, or does her journey stop now and end in tragedy? That's what I'm curious about.
All right. Well, Brooke has their answer in. Brooke, how are you feeling about your rhyme?
I mean, it rhymes.
Well, then that sounds like a success to me.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, right. It answers the brief.
Great.
Shoot. It said my number of words was wrong. Uh-oh.
That's correct. You have an incorrect number of words. You need 8 of them. Amy, how you feel about your answer? Oh, that is, I'm sorry, Abe, not enough time. All right, it's time to vote. Number 1, Pen Shi wines, sword shines, end of crime. Ooh. Number 2, fights, blights, captive tender, ultimate surrender, Pen win. And number 3, sun in her face, Pen Shi finds her place.
You know what happened? I didn't put space between two words. So it counted as one word.
Oh, damn.
Who earns?
I would feel really bad for you if you weren't winning so hard.
I don't feel bad
That's what I like to hear, Amy. That's what I like to hear.
I do want to hear what it is, though. Or should we, or you do it, Chronicle?
You want to hear it?
I would love to hear it personally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're right. Let's hear it.
Okay. Let's see. Aspiration, blood libation, violence embraced, soul shine erased.
Oh,
Ooh.
Multiple rhymes.
Really great.
Amy is feeling very good that you did not get that in.
One word, which doesn't make any damn sense.
No, yeah, but I got the feeling that you were going for.
Thank you.
It's poetry, yeah.
It is poetry.
It's true. You've lifted everyone by reciting it.
Yeah.
I know.
Remember, you two are playing at home, audience. Make sure you get your opinion in the chat, so that we can make sure you get your vote in as well. Oh, Abe, we are waiting on you.
Yeah.
For your
I'm sorry.
vote.
Still got to vote.
I was wallowing in self-pity instead of voting.
It's okay. I feel for you, friend. But get those points. Vote for who you think who wins. Make sure you get those points. All right, we got the votes in. Let's see who wins the round. Winner is Amy Vorpahl with fights, blights, captive tender, ultimate surrender, Pen win.
Nice.
All right, Amy, tell me where your head was at and where you think the story is going with that answer.
Well, I think what I was trying to convey was just a lot of action, and then I did ultimately. I know I was trying to get Pen Shi to learn a lesson, but I wanted her to win because it rhymed with pen. And and then I just thought that it's like here I did envision the scene where one of the two kind of had like an internal moment where they just accepted their fate, and so to me that was ultimate surrender. And captive tender, those are fun words, man.
Yeah.
Captive tender.
I think tender. I meant like that the treasure. Like treasure is tender. I don't know.
Tender, as in a form of tender.
Yeah, for like money, but it's treasure. Perfect. And we all get it. Yeah,
absolutely.
And she also Got an embrace.
Right.
Yeah.
Wanting that embrace. It's a double entendre. A double entendre.
That's right.
Jay, how did the Clockwork Golem take the double entendre that Amy introduced?
The Clockwork Golem seems to be pretty happy. Let's see this image.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Leaning into the triumph.
Oh my gosh.
Wow,
Things have really
seriously.
turned for Pinchy.
I
They
know.
She's
What an
right.
arc.
I think she's flying too close to the sun, maybe.
This is super. This is from the same artist of the last installation. This is directly from her dreams as a child being humiliated, but she's transformed it into holding
Holding the Fang itself.
aloft.
Yeah.
All right, Amy. Since you won the round, we need a sound effect, a noise, or a single line of dialogue that represents your answer and this image.
Okay.
All right, it's time to recap.
That's what I was going to say.
We've got
too.
Penshi, a jealous bard from Lestia. Their ordinary world is that they're busking for tips in Lestia.
I take requests, but no more free bird.
Their heart's desire is a comforting hometown embrace.
I have no parents. Please love me.
Then an unfamiliar situation arises when an odorous troll appears with a treasure hole.
If you want the sword, climb inside my treasure hole.
Oh God, there's 1-900 number.
I know, it's getting worse. Somehow the troll is getting worse.
It's all I want. Let me have it.
Then the darkness descends. This blade bestows glory and downfall.
Blood will be spilled. Whose is up to you.
Then a callback results in a plan when our hero can only recall childhood humiliations and despair.
See the sunlight glint off my blade.
Victory or defeat? Flights, blights, captive tender, ultimate surrender, pen win.
La la la.
Hell yeah.
After that round, in the lead, Abraham with 12 points. Amy Vorpahl in a two-way tie for second and third with the audience, and Brooke in last place with 4 points. Brooke, how you feeling?
I feel good. Somebody's got to be last.
That's right.
And
doesn't mean you're
I
least,
have a
ever.
place.
I think it's still anyone's game. It's anyone's game. It's anyone's game.
You're right. It is anyone's game because we're moving into our final round in hard mode. The lesson learned, you're going to get 150 seconds. Your words are 9 of them. You're going to get 9 words.
Ooh,
but before we do that, it is also our final wager round.
Uh-oh.
So now it's time to wager. Oh, 1 second. We went right into the round. I believe we're going to reset. Let me check 1 second. I apologize, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we because of beta playtest, we will not be wagering this round. Unfortunately, I apologize. Due to some dark magics, as Jay has indicated earlier, we are unable to wager this round. You will still get 9 words. And apologies. I believe
guys, vamp.
Yeah, vamp. We got a vamp.
Yeah, great.
What's your second favorite magical item?
All right.
I like clockwork gnomes.
I also like clockwork gnomes. I am being told we are not going to reset. We're going to keep this time. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to think before I say go, and then we will unpause the game and continue with the time. So you're going to get 9 words. No wager. Unfortunately, no wager this evening for the 7th round. I once again apologize. Dark magic's at work here, but you're going to get 50 seconds. I'm going to give you 50 seconds before I start the timer. 9 words. Jay, what do you think we've learned here?
9 words is a lot of words. We learned that there could be a bug with the wager round and 9 words. And we learned that even trolls need hugs too.
Players, keep in mind, until I say go, you will be able to form your answers, but you will not be able to submit them. So hold them. You got another 10 seconds or so before I say go, and then you'll have 108 seconds remaining.
Okay. I understand.
All right. Go. Now we can restart the timer. The game has restarted. You have 105 seconds left.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your patience. So we had Flights, Blights, Captive Tender, and Ultimate Surrender with a pen win. So it seems like, for what I get here, Jay, is that Pen fought. There were some blights around, maybe some magical blights brought by the troll, perhaps. Maybe it was a blight troll. There was some Captive Tender, as in the sword was still being controlled by the troll. Ultimately, the troll surrenders because Pin wins. What are you thinking of as a lesson learned here? I feel like hugs have to be involved.
There's hugs, the childhood humiliations I'm trying to think about, like how, you know, our childhood humiliations often cause us such trauma underneath the surface that we all sort of are seeking something like a hug without saying it.
Validation of some form. Amy, how are you feeling about your lesson learned here?
I started typing another one, and then I sat back and thought, nah, I'm good. I like it.
All right.
You know, you ever have that moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Where you're like, well, maybe it could be, you know what? No, I trust the instinct of the first thought. That's right. First thought, best thought. Brooke, how are you feeling about your answer here?
I feel great about it. I just went with the first thought, and I stuck with it as well. All right.
Well, we'll see if it pays off. It's time to vote. Number 1, Hug Dead Troll, Soothe Soul, Song is Sung, done. Now, I will point out, those of you who are voting, there was no need to rhyme. So whoever did that, bravo.
Bonus points.
Bonus points. Take that into account when you vote. Number 2, Sword Falls, Darkness Takes Hold, An Artist's Heart Dies. Number 3, Penshi craved embrace, but she needed only embrace herself. Number 4, I sing the body electric. I'm jealous no more.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
Either way, a transformation.
There has been a change in our hero, for sure. Make sure you get your votes in. Audience, you too can vote. Make sure you let us know what your opinion is in our chat. This is the final round. It will determine who wins the Ember of the Flame Imperishable. So make sure you get your vote in.
This is amazing. I can't believe how well this all went down. It also could have been a totally different story depending on the hero.
Exactly.
That's true.
On the hero, on the art, on how which votes were voted for. It's incredible.
You might say we chose our own adventure.
I think the most random and telling and like the most story defining introduction, because that wasn't in the beginning, was this notion of a troll who may or may not get a hug. Like I think that was something that took the story in a different direction totally.
A tone setter.
Yeah.
The troll was great, I just want to say.
The troll's vocal.
Everybody loves the troll.
Everybody loves the troll.
Really
it was a great addition. It was such a good addition. The troll.
I mean, we only have really two characters, the troll and Penshi. Maybe
I hope the troll gets invited back for a sequel.
I mean, he's odorous, so he's definitely got that in there. It looks like we've got
treasure in that treasure hole.
All of our votes in. Let's see the winner. Winner of the round is Brooke with I Sing the Body Electric. I'm jealous no more.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Brooke. Now, I want to know, can you tell me a little bit about where you were going with that lesson learned?
Well, the last couple of images were such a turnaround of beauty and nature. And I thought of, we started with some Lewis Carroll. Why not end with some Walt Whitman? And also, if you're a musical theater nerd, some optimistic lyrics from musical theater. If anyone's familiar with the musical fame.
That's also why I voted for it. It was like, oh yeah, there's some bardic energy that needs to be addressed here.
Yeah. The Whitman is what lured me into vote for it too.
Yeah.
Well
so technically, I didn't write it.
You wrote the second half.
All right, Jay, what does our Clockwork Golem think about Brooke's suggestion?
The Clockwork Golem has its best work yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow!
Oh, look!
I hope the troll congratulates her.
It finally got the hang of it.
Happy.
She's also doing, I think, boat yoga, she's doing a hard pose, honestly.
All right,
and
Brooke.
She's the Joker.
Sound effect, noise, or single line of dialogue before I recap and tell our audience who's won the game.
You guys, I just gotta do it. I sing the body electric.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. All right, let's recap.
He's a bard.
We told the story of Penshi and the weapon of where's the name? Dardaleza's Fang. There it is. Dardaleza's Fang. Thank you very much. We told the story of Penshi, a jealous bard from Lestia, and the Dardaleza's Fang. Penshi has an ordinary world of busking for tips in Lestia.
I take requests, but no more Freebird.
Their heart's desire is a comforting hometown embrace.
I have no parents. Please love me.
An unfamiliar situation arises when an odorous troll appears with a treasure hole.
If you want the sword, you must climb inside my treasure hole.
Well, the darkness descends when this blade bestows glory and downfall. Abraham? Oh no.
No.
It sounds like we have lost our Abraham. Does one of our other storytellers recall Abraham's dialogue?
Take it away, Amy.
It's something, I don't know if this is the one, but it's like, the blade will shed blood. Whose is up to you?
Oh, great. Lovely.
I don't know if that was that
That's
one.
That's great. That's what we're going with. It sounds close enough to me. All right. Callback results in a plan in that she can only recall childhood humiliations and despair.
Brooke?
Fill it in if you can't remember.
My soul shines bright like a diamond. I think the word soul and shine was in it. I don't remember.
Great. All right. Victory or defeat. Fights, blights, captive tender, ultimate surrender. Pen, win.
La la la.
And our lesson learned. I sing the body electric. I'm jealous no more.
I sing the my body electric. I am Pinchy.
Well done. After our 7th round, our winner isn't with us. The winner is Abraham with 13 points. Amy, you win second with 7. And Brooke, a 2-way tie between you and the audience.
Technically, I want to say that the audience and I probably won because I would have wagered all of my points.
Oh, there it is.
If we had wagered.
Oh.
Just saying.
See? I like it.
And also, you're always a winner if you tie with the audience.
Oh, true story. Also,
That's what I like.
Severe power move on Abe's part to be like, to just know so hard that he already. It's like Meryl Streep forgetting to go to the Oscars.
What a dude. What a man.
All right,
What a
Amy,
man
Amy
move.
or Brooke, would one of you like to honorarily accept the ember of the flame imperishable for Abe?
Yes, well, not for him,
Please,
Abe, but I'll
please.
accept it.
In lieu of Abe, Amy.
In lieu of Abe, all right.
What would you like to say?
I would like to say thanks for all the Jewish references, audience. Thanks for doing the Torah or whatever he was talking about earlier, and I just thanks for appreciating me, Abe. Thanks for appreciating me, Abe.
I appreciated is it a guitar or a lute? What is it? The instrument?
The lute.
My ukulele.
I knew he would
Hey,
come
I'm
back.
There he
I
is.
knew it.
Our Abe
sorry,
has
guys.
returned. Amy,
That's-
that was a lovely acceptance speech. Amy did a test run of your acceptance speech. Congratulations, good sir. You win with 13 points. But Brooke did make it known that had we been able to vote, she would have wagered all her points and probably beat you.
Oh,
Crown
yes, you
is
would have.
disputed.
Yes.
Crown is in dispute. But for now, you win, Abe.
I'm
Please,
very excited
tell
for
us how
the
you
bloody
feel.
war of succession to find the true victor.
Well, tell us how you feel. How does it feel to win?
The winning feels great. The fact that my internet cut out and I had to race inside to use Wi-Fi and probably wake up both of my sleeping children, that feels less good.
Oh, no. Well, congratulations to you, Abe. You're our winner. This evening, I bestow upon you an ember from our flame imperishable.
I see it.
Mad bragging rights, good sir. Mad bragging rights. You win the game. Well done.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my fellow contestants. I'm trying to square up the flame. It's not going well.
Wow.
Well,
But
Abe, I know that you identified that you're a storyteller at heart. Could you tell me a little bit about your strategy going in this game?
well, it's actually the strategy is what abandoned me at the end. I was trying to bring the journey full circle, the hero's rise and the hero's downfall. I had the artist's heart dying in the last frame, but clearly the audience did not want. They didn't want the tragic downfall, as I understand. So yeah, I was trying. I suppose I was trying to the degree that I could create an arc, a hero's journey.
So, Brooke, I've got a question. Because you did not get to wager, and you lose, does it feel? How's it feel? Are you wanting to come back and defend the crown again versus Abe? Could we expect a rematch at some point?
Anytime I get the call, I'll be here, and Abe better look out.
I will be. I will keep my eyes to the sky for the signal.
Yeah.
Well,
Next time I'm gonna have wigs, hats,
Nice.
costumes, and you'll.
I am
going to
learn guitar and harmonica between now and then.
This is what I love. Everybody taking this opportunity to make themselves better and improve.
Exactly. Journey of
I
self-improvement.
love it.
And when
Journey of
Fortunate-
self-improvement, absolutely.
When Fortunata needs you, the Clockwork Golem will send a broadcast of your childhood imaginations into the sky, and you'll know you'll know it's the bonfire calling.
All right, that's another story curated around the bonfire. You know what? Since Abe has returned, I feel like we should recap our story again as we wait for our digital collectible, the rare and legendary digital artifact we all crafted together, and to give Abe an honest opportunity to get their sounds and dialogue out.
Ooh,
So hopefully you all remember your parts. We told the story of Penshi, a jealous bard from Lestia. Their ordinary world was busking for tips in Lestia.
I take requests, but no more Freebird.
The heart's desire was a comforting hometown embrace.
I have no parents. Please love me.
An unfamiliar situation arises when an odorous troll appears with a treasure hole.
If you want the sword, you must climb inside my treasure hole.
The darkness descends when this blade bestows glory and downfall.
Blood will be spilled. Whose is up to you.
Well, a callback results in a plan when she can only recall her childhood humiliations and despair.
See the sunlight glint off my blade.
Victory or defeat, flights, blights, captive tender, ultimate surrender, Pen wins.
La la la!
And what is the lesson we have learned, dear viewer? I sing the body electric. I'm jealous no more.
I sing the body electric. I'm Pinchy!
Well done, everyone. You played your parts well. Thank you very much for that recap. Jay, I got to say, I really love that. I want us to keep that and make it happen every game.
I do too. Zolom wants to make Brooke's soundbite a ringtone, like a
yeah, great.
Love
Which
it.
one? Probably
Venmo me
the troll?
99 cents.
Yeah.
99 cents for
I'll
a
send you a voice
ringtone.
Well, now it's time to announce our weekly contest winners and their cash prizes. If you want to enter, please join the Heroic Story Discord. You too can be featured on Bonfire and win some of that sweet, sweet Skrilla. All right. I'm going to start with our art contest winners. If we can see that art in third place.
Wow.
With $70, the winner is Kit.
Ooh.
Wow, that's cool.
Oh my god.
Indeed. In second place with $100, winner, a regular here, Retro no Densetsu. And in
Wow.
first place, with $130 as their prize, Sylvius.
Very cool.
Nice. And they
Indeed.
drew, congrats. They drew the Tomb of the Ancient Dragons that Dardaleza's Fang is believed to unlock.
Oh, all right.
Oh.
And make sure to come back next week as this image will be used at the beginning of our game.
Very cool.
All right.
It looks like the obelisk from 2001, like
Yeah.
cracked and reformed.
I think Sylvius's looks a little bit like the Truman Show. You know, the door at the edge of the world.
Oh, that's a good call. I didn't see that.
Yeah. It's kind of
Indeed. I like the planetary stuff they put in the background too.
Yeah.
Like the really
That's
close.
cute.
I always love pictures like that. I don't know what it is about that, but I always enjoy it.
I
Ooh,
just
there's a glimmer.
anything that's visual is like really stunning. My mind doesn't work in that way. So
Same.
when people can communicate that way, it's really special.
Amy says Sylvius really outdid himself. I agree, Amy. He really did. All right, now it's
better
time.
than when he was Emperor of Rome, even, I would say.
Fair enough. Now it's time for our writing contest winners. The winners of the Caravan Thieves Writing Contest are as follows. In third place, we have Nate Tucker. A whoosh of a man with blue hair carrying the general's sword rushed past her. He bounded from wagon to wagon, coming so close to Sarah that she heard him laugh, running across the canvas as if he weighed little more than a cat.
Oh.
Nice, Nate.
Okay,
Nice,
this
Nate.
is the reason this is such good writing is it seems that there's more verbs than nouns, and that is a really tough a tough skill to master. To just like be so verby.
To use all the verbs.
People can get lost with adjectives. You just
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
can't.
Yep.
Yeah,
In
action's
second
where
place-
it's at.
Yes.
That's right.
Action
In second
reveals
place,
character.
with $100, again with the win, Retro
Oh,
no
double-
Densetsu,
Hey.
a double win.
Renaissance
With-
person.
Nice
Renaissance
retro.
person, indeed.
Who can retire now after this?
With feline grace, Razor snatched the sword and made for the opposite side of the tent, cutting his way out, fleeing into the desert with his newfound companion. So much for finesse.
Amazing.
Nice, love that.
And a little joke button at the end.
Indeed. And in first place, a regular winner here, at Heroic Story, Amy, with a $130 prize.
All right.
Congratulations, Amy. You win the writing contest and you won the last week's auction. Congratulations.
Nice.
Razor's life flashed before his eyes. He chose to save his life over his pride. Holding out 3 half-folded fingers, he pressed them to his heart, prayed to the goddess for the first time, and vanished along with the sword.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
So good.
Some internal life going on there too.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Nice.
Well done, Amy. Well done
Congrats.
Wow, wow, wow.
to all of our winners.
Yeah.
Indeed. Well, I'm
Nope.
well, all right. So we're still waiting for our digital collectible to be rendered and manifested and spit out of the forge. So, Amy, Abe, and Brooke, I'd love to hear what you think about the game. What was your favorite moment? Let's start with your favorite moment from the game. Amy?
Oh, I think I don't think I have a favorite moment. I just think this is so well orchestrated. I just want to tell the audience that the way that this happens behind the scenes is pretty magical. Like it runs smoother than like a Steam game. It's crazy. I don't know. This has kind of blown my mind how this has all worked so well. You're in good hands for the future.
Well, we thank you very much for the compliment.
Thank you. That's awesome to hear.
That is incredible. That was an incredible compliment. Thank you so much, Amy. Abe, what was your favorite moment from the game?
I think my favorite moment was having my victory delegitimized but just kidding. I think
Mine too.
I just like the I like the collaboration. I liked hey, look, there's the flame. It's still there. It really is
still there.
eternal.
It
It
is.
really is undying.
Gonna follow you everywhere.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure. There were so many highlights. I just think I liked working together with these fantastic creatives.
Indeed. They are fantastic. Brooke, what about you? What was your favorite moment from the game?
I think that my favorite part is just like when the art pops up. You don't know what Gollum's gonna toss up there, and that's always like just surprising and fun, and it's always really good.
Indeed. Jay, what was your favorite moment from this game?
I mean, the Golem has made me think that like in the future we're gonna be like, we will probably be the Golem and the Golems will be playing and wondering what the humans are gonna draw.
And why it's taking us so long.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
we do need to respect the Golem, and just in case, just in case they're the boss of us.
All right, it looks like we have the NFT. It is ready. The digital collectible. Let's take a look at it. Dardaleza's Fang.
Wow.
Long ago in the Nameless Kingdom, the ancient dragons hoarded powerful treasures. Dardaleza's Fang was one such treasure forged by the Dragon Lord from the tooth of his eldest son. But when the Nameless Kingdom fell, the dragons vanished and the sword was lost. Pen Shi, the jealous bard who busks for tips, longs for an embrace she'll never receive. While counting her meager earnings, a strange stench lures her to a treasure hole, guarded by an odorous troll. The blade hums, showing Pen Shi childhood humiliations. The Fang may end her despair. After a blighted fight, the troll surrenders. Pen Shi wins the sword and sings the body electric.
Cool.
Wow.
That's
Well
awesome.
encapsulated.
The writer
gosh.
had a task to integrate all of
Yes.
that.
Damn.
Indeed.
Is my soul captured in there too?
Your soul
Wow.
captured in there as well. I mean,
it's
this
in
is just
there.
incredible work, guys.
I love that we
3D
we've
aspects
come
of
to
it.
accept a treasure hole. It's just a thing. That's just a thing.
It's just a thing that exists that everybody accepts. It's fine.
Of course.
I mean,
totally fine.
also the body electric is just canon now. That's amazing.
Yes.
Very
Indeed.
cool.
Holy
Can't believe we-
Oh, thank you,
everybody
Walt
made that.
Whitman.
Before we leave, Brooke, I've got one special request because I loved it so much. Could I get your prompt from the troll phase?
If you want the sword, you must climb inside my treasure.
It feels so gross.
It's so breathy at the end. It gets so breathy.
I know. Oh my
It's
goodness.
a constantly evolving work. It's a living, breathing piece of art. So
Well, thank
I
you very
love
much
it.
for that, Brooke. That was fantastic. You really brought my face is hurting from the smiles on that I've gotten. Before we sign off, do our guests have anything they'd like to plug? Let's start with Amy Vorpahl.
Oh, hey, just follow me on Instagram and Twitter. You can do that at Vorpahl Sword. And you can check out my newest album called Behold Her Dreams. It's 10 nerdy comedic songs that are arguably mostly based around Dungeons and Dragons.
Nice.
One of my favorites is the one around the schools of magic.
Yes.
So make sure you guys check that one out.
Thank you. Thank you, Crown.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Abe, what about you? Anything that you can plug?
As COVID abates, maybe things will pick up a little bit, but nothing. But feel free to follow me at Abe Harry on Twitter. I use it almost exclusively for jokes.
Right.
So I won't bother you with opinions or anything.
Well, aren't jokes a form of opinion?
I guess, yeah.
So you will bother us with opinions.
Okay, I promise I will.
Just funny ones. So I'm down. I'm down. All right. And Brooke, what about you? What would you like to play?
You can find 30-minute musical stuff all over YouTube and Twitter and on the Instagrams.
Great.
There we go.
And who knows where the troll will be?
Well, thank you to all of our guests, to the audience, to Nime for the incredible art of Dardaleza's Fang, to our talented writers in our Discord community, and to the Heroic Story team. I also want to thank our production partners at Effin Funny. Please do me a favor, throw them a follow at twitch.tv/effinfunny. I promise you will not regret it. Do the same for all of our guests this evening as well. They are worthy of your attention, I promise. To find out when the auction is live for tonight's digital collectible, do me a favor, head over to discord.gg/heroic story. I'm your host, Ron Ogden. You can find me in all the usual places you find things on the internet at The Real Rogden. On behalf of my co-host, Jay, thank you, everyone, for joining. And remember, your life's a story. Be the hero in it. And good night.